Chattisfying.
I think we should just go straight into it. Let's just dive straight in, head first, and let's talk about Virtute. So, Virtute, tell us everything about yourself and your stream and your content and everything.
Everything. So I am a variety streamer, quote unquote, I suppose. I do like mostly story games. I've been streaming for about 3 years on Twitch, kind of, or at least that's when I officially started, I suppose. I played like Overwatch a couple of times before that, like across the years, and didn't find my fitting or find like my own kind of vibe that worked for me until about 2018, I suppose. And I'm a Twitch streamer. I play video games on the internet. That's what I do. I also play bass. I have a small son who is 2 years old called Flynn, and I don't know what do I say. Play video games on the internet is very different. It's like unique. Not many people on Chattisfying actually do that. It's quite rare, I find, that people on Twitch stream video games. So that's
it's a niche market, my friend.
That's my niche. That's my niche. I am a beta. Oh my god, you're pouring it straight in. Oh, is there only a little bit left? I thought you were just like you were getting ready. You were just gonna like bosh it out on your table and like get the notes out.
So what have you been?
Yeah.
So go on. What have you been playing recently? So tell us a bit more.
So I have been playing Hollow Knight recently. I've just started yesterday. I started on the Path of Pain. I believe you were there, Mellar. It's like the challenge level for it. It's a platforming challenge. At the moment, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go back into it again. And the reason for that is I was like, in the last moment, or what I feel is the last moment, is the moment that everyone said, but this is the most difficult part. I spent 2 hours like banging my head against it constantly, kind of almost getting to the end and then failing. And while I was at work on lunch break, I was like, you know what, I'll fire up the Switch, I'll give it a try. And didn't think to heal myself between each run. Ended up dying, found myself at the beginning of it with like maybe 2 hours progress lost. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go back to this on Tuesday and do it all again, or whether or not I just kind of decide to start something else. So I don't know what's next on the stream. You've kind of caught me at like this moment where I'm like, do I play Resident Evil? Do I play... I'm thinking maybe Little Nightmares, maybe something else entirely. I'm at the moment, the world is my oyster, and I've got like different ideas, but I don't know where to really start. Otherwise, yeah, mostly story games. I think usually I try and pick a game thinking I'll enjoy the story or I'll enjoy the mechanics enough to be able to talk about them and commentate them. Like I think the driving force for me as a streamer is that I like to talk and I like to kind of approach it like similar to how YouTubers approach Let's Plays, where I want to be able to deliver some sort of driving commentary on the game and have like notes to talk about on the game and not just kind of be constantly asking the chat how they're doing. Like I feel like it's important to be in a position where you can play a game and talk even if chat goes really quiet, because hopefully if you're like entertaining people, then they're just like, yeah, I can just sit back and watch this thing, you know what I mean? Like I tend to approach Twitch in that way and video games in that way, where it's like I mostly just watch people and I'm like a lurker of a watcher, so I'm happy when people feel comfortable enough to do that with me. I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome.
I like it when people watch me, but in many different categories.
Yeah, that's true. I watch you on all the different websites, mostly the hub websites, and I appreciate that.
Yep, it's true. Although, actually, just to throw it out there, because you know, well, we're all adults here. We were talking on my stream the other day.
Speak for yourself.
And adults physically. We're talking on my stream about, funny enough, social medias and all these kind of bits and bats. And someone said to me, "Oh my God, you see Hairy Hippo's OnlyFans?" I was like, "I don't have an OnlyFans." And then somebody linked it in my chat, and it actually exists.
What?
Yes, I have the Hairy Hippo. I don't know if I did it though. That's the problem.
You don't know. Is it you? Is there a profile picture that's yours?
Completely blank, but it's the Hairy Hippo.
I mean, right? mine exists, and I know I claimed it just so no one else could.
I don't know if I did it though.
Mine's got a $50 like the highest tier that you could possibly set as a subscription fee, because I was just like, I want to make it prohibitive. Like if
Mm.
someone subscribes to me, I want it to be prohibitively expensive that no one will do it by accident.
Mm.
You know, like if someone does it, they're just like, I really want to see Vert's nudes. So at that point, I'm just like, if someone drops 50, I'm gonna make it worth their while. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I'm thinking
Is
like
it $50 or £50?
I think it's bucks, but I
That's all right, I
I
can
would
afford
put your
that.
wallet away because I don't know what I'm gonna do. A part of me thinks like maybe a like lewd Blair Witch Project type scenario, like take a tent out
You're gonna snot
and
come
just
out your
kind
nose and everything, yeah?
basically just like me over the camera, like hovering over the camera, maybe like my leg up on a stool or something, like hairy nads in one part of the shot, like my face over above it, snot everywhere. I'm crying. I'm just like, she's outside. Like I'm gonna get Brit to rustle the tent. Well, I'm gonna pan around. There's gonna be shit in the tree. Excuse my French. There's gonna be shit in the trees, and there's gonna be like little dolls and stuff everywhere. And it's gonna be like probably the best nut of your life. But
I'm sold. I'm sold.
also like one of the most expensive on the internet.
I think I could potentially one up you on this one. It all depends if you've seen the film. You ever seen American Beauty?
Oh God,
Yeah.
where are we going with this? Hippo?
You know, with the rose petals all over, but you can make them tea bags because you're a tea bag man. You just cover yourself in tea bags everywhere. It'd be glorious. Just
I
lying
like
there
it. That would be good. Or like toxic
any
waste.
day, man. I tell you, I'll have it.
Sour candy everywhere. But yeah, right. I do genuinely have like a prohibitively expensive OnlyFans.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
It's the
Hippo's
first one I've said
really,
that on the internet.
really pandering to the British audience there if they're tea bags.
Well, I only know of one man that drinks more tea than any other person in existence. And
I'm not actually drinking tea right now. I'm afraid to tell you.
What are you drinking? I was just about to ask that actually. You on a sneak as well?
Yeah, I just finished my strawberry watermelon, which I think you just did you just pour out one of those?
No, I finished off my blue raspberry.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
But
I need
yeah.
to get some more.
And now I have water because I don't want to drink all the caffeine.
I feel like I'm left out here because I don't do any of that stuff.
You need to get
It
yourself into sneak, my dude.
just sounds like a drug.
It basically is, I guess. It's
It's a very caffeinated drink.
yeah. That's all it really is. It's flavorings and caffeine, like large
You
amounts.
just add
of
water
caffeine.
to it, and that's it.
Yeah, I was just too lazy to make a tea today. That's the only reason why I don't have one.
Too lazy to
It's
make a
not
tea?
for any kind of
Tea.
like branding thing.
That's all great. Yeah, tell us a bit more about your stream, about maybe some of the other stuff that you do, like OnlyBans, for example. What's that?
Okay. So I have a previous. I'm a guest that apparently needs prompting constantly. I have a like a premium subscription service on my stream. If you save up enough channel points, you can subscribe to a 24-hour ban service where you get exclusive content, which is usually me recording chat and recording myself. I kind of owe some people their exclusive content at the moment,
Including me.
but yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really slack on it at the moment. But it's an exclusive ban list, and you end up on like the underneath my description on my stream. You not like on my junk, but on my description on my stream, you end up in a little list of people that have joined OnlyBans, and yeah. It is pretty painful. It's something I need to work out how to do better. I want to make it more premium. I want to make it more exclusive. I don't know how to take OnlyBans to the next level.
Oh mate, you got to put that £50 that $50 level on.
Yeah, exactly. The $50 OnlyBans level.
Amazing.
I'm so aroused right now; it's unreal. Jesus
I will.
Christ.
I will get there.
What would you say is your favorite game that you've streamed? The one you've had the most fun with?
Do you know? I can't remember all the games that I've streamed, but probably Subnautica, I suppose. I think that was like the one, even though it was kind of weird because it was chat got very, very backseaty during it, very, very backseaty, and it kind of kicked off the need for us to have a rule of no backseating.
Yeah.
Like before that, it wasn't really that much of an issue, but then it just kind of ramped up. There were new people in the chat, and they were just like telling me where to go constantly, like telling me how they think I should play the game. And that game's really open worldy, which I find quite frustrating as a streamer because when I don't have direction, I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? And I feel like I could just spend a 5-hour stream just going in a direction, and we may not actually have anything interesting happen. And I like having direction to know, like, oh, there's this plot point or there's this thing that will tether the direction to. Like I like open world stuff when I'm like let's playing for YouTube, but this is like a different vibe, and I can edit it and like cut between all the kind of filler in the middle, but I still found that game really compelling and really interesting because it was really, really beautiful. I hadn't played a game with like a world like that before, where everything's about traveling through the depths of the world rather than, you know, like on the surface of it. And it's very, very flawed. It has like a really slow ending to the game, and some things are really wrong with it, but still, despite all of its flaws, I thought it was probably one of the best games that I've played. Like I think it's like a stone's throw away from being a masterpiece. And I
Wow.
don't really like survival games, but there was so much about it where I felt constantly on edge playing it. Like there's a lot of unknown because you only have like a certain view distance when you're underwater. Like it gets murkier as you get deeper. Every time I'd go into a new area, I would be worried about what next thing I'd come across, and how I felt genuinely scared quite constantly during that game, especially when going into new areas, and especially when going past all the reapers and all the monsters. And it was just a really, really good experience. I like being scared by games. I like feeling something when I'm playing a game. So like that got me. It was interesting.
It wasn't just scary, was it? I don't think I've ever been so it was so compelling when you you were all sad about the cuddlefish, when you had to leave the cuddlefish behind.
Mm-hmm. And there was the base building, and just there was so much to that game, and like because it was janky, because there was some issues with like base building and inventory management, where you don't really have the game doesn't manage your inventory for you. You have to put stuff in lockers manually, and you have to remember what's in what locker. So I'd end up like running around my base, just kind of not knowing where I'd put anything because I'm not a very organized person. Just kind of chatting shit and just having fun with it in like every way. And I really enjoyed it for that. It was nice. It felt like I could kind of get myself out a little bit because I was having all these moments of like quiet in the game where I had to fill it in with my thoughts. And it's nice when you can like communicate yourself through a video game, just because like the game's slowly driving you insane, rather than like in a good way, rather than like the worst games I've played, like God of War and stuff like that, where I just kind of was frustrated by the game. So yeah, I think that's my favorite.
Awesome. I feel like you've at least somewhat answered the next question. What game did you stream that you really just didn't like?
That would be God of War. And that's a frustrating one. I think you probably expected that answer, but it was a game that I found I went into it with really high expectations. You know, like it's a game that's considered by a lot of people to be a perfect 10. You know, like when people talk about best games on the PlayStation and like system sellers are like God of War is amazing. I was expecting something great, and it just kind of had a really good story with like a 3 out of 10 game attached. Like everything else was really good, like the scenery, the voice acting, and the game in general in terms of the story. And it was just like this beautiful game and really well presented, but I just found the combat really stale. Like you're fighting the same things over and over again, and it's just kind of like with the same moves. It was lame. God of War was a lame game, or at least the newer one. I don't know about the old ones, but I was disappointed.
Indeed. I think Nightwings has just realised the gig is up, Virtue.
I like the fact if you bring your jug down a little bit, you can see my Yoshi through your chest.
What?
You bring your mug up a little bit, you can see my Yoshi in your chest.
Yeah, that's how you can tell this is actually my room, because this isn't a green screen cup. This cup actually shows you what's behind me in my body in the room that I'm in.
Yeah.
So because Hippo can't do this, can't show you something through his own body, you can tell that this is my room that I'm in.
I've always wanted to be in Virtute's room, definitely strapped up and naked, but you know, whatever works, you know, it's all good.
We're in bed together. You're gonna make me all red in the cheeks.
No. Seriously, right? I even wrote like I was gonna say like so many things, and I've written a little bit here, right? We have an amazing guest, the one and only Virtue. If you don't know Virtue, come check him out. He's such a dude. He's handsome, bearded, intelligent, charismatic, aristocratic, and basically he's a badass. That's what I wrote to promote people.
You're a gorgeous man. Thank you.
It's just the truth, man. It's just the truth.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, what can I say?
I wanna point out something, like a weird thing that I've started doing streaming recently that I haven't really talked about because I'm just like, do I need to talk about this? I've started wearing makeup, and I don't know, like you shouldn't really be able to tell because it's just like a really neutral like foundation, not foundation, what's the word, like a powder, right? I've been wearing like a you know, like when people in films, they're just like they get their face dusted with a powder. I don't know what it's called, like is it setting powder or something, some sort of makeup powder. And I was just, because like YouTubers use it to stop the lights from shining on them so much, and I was just like, you know what, it'll make me less shiny, why not give it a try? It's not too bad actually. I've kind of got used to it. But that's me getting this off my chest. I've been wearing makeup on stream recently, but it's just like a dusty powder.
So is it, because I know that
My
you
smoky
did
eyes, huh?
you did a makeup stream where Brit, your girlfriend, did
Oh yeah, that,
your own makeup.
yeah.
Was that how you got the idea?
No, actually, I saw Vox talk about it recently and saying that, you know, like it's what he's been doing on his YouTube videos for a while, and I was like, it kind of makes sense. Like I'm underneath bright, shiny lights, and the more you stream and the more you're underneath those lights, the shinier you get because you're doing stuff, you start sweating, all that good stuff. And I was just like, you know what, I need to do something to kind of like neutralize my skin while I'm streaming. I mean, like, if it's good enough for professional actors, it's good enough for me, right? So I was like, why not give it a try? I've actually like thought it's all right.
But I like your
I rate
Twilight
it.
Sparkle. Your Twilight Sparkle's amazing.
You're
the only cool thing about Twilight, all right?
I thought you meant like Twilight Sparkle, like a My Little Pony.
No.
I thought you were making a My Little Pony reference. I was just like, okay, Twilight Sparkle, fine. That's a pony, right?
Turns out with Virtute's a brony. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Ooh.
We went from Bikermeister Mars to this now to Bronying. I like it.
If you haven't seen the images of Virtue in full makeup, by the way, I believe they're on your Discord, aren't they, or on your Twitter?
Yeah, I put a clip up in my TikTok as well. Like there should be clips everywhere now.
Excellent.
Pardon me, there was one on Twitter. I don't know if it's still there.
Very pretty. It's very
I
pretty.
did my own
profile picture.
makeup for Britney Spears.
Yeah,
You did, and you look gorgeous.
Yeah, I did that myself, which is why I kind of look like something out of Rocky Horror.
That's you know, my junk couldn't tell any different, and that's what matters, right?
That's fine, man. I still got the outfit. It's all good. Special occasions, man. I've got two options. I've got Gambit or I've got Britney Spears, so it's all good.
When you say special occasions, you mean every night, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I got to
Beautiful.
sleep like it.
every night's a special occasion with Hippo.
Streams done, lippy on. You know, I get the music in the background like something out of Silence of the Lambs, ready to go. You know, just getting myself pretty.
Puts the lotion on its skin. No else gets the hose again.
Oh god, I feel so old.
So we kind
Do
of
you know
mentioned.
I actually? Sorry, I need to point out for a moment because I never have ever had the chance to use it. But I have a button on my Stream Deck that plays that song. Because I was just like, so at some point I'm gonna find this useful on stream.
Yes.
I'm just gonna be like, you want me?
Dance for it for you. I don't mind. I'll even do it. I don't care.
Exactly. I'll be like, would you me? And that's it. You know, boom, lipstick
have a
out. You know,
For me in the corner, just doing a little dance for you on your stream.
I can hear it in my head now. I can picture it.
It's there in it.
cast.
I'm sold
It's
on it, man.
cast.
You tell me when. I'm there for you. I'm happy to help.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you mentioned obviously earlier the fact that you did a makeup stream. You got your girlfriend to do your makeup. I know
Yes,
the answer to this question, but why did you do that? Talk to us all about that.
Because we raised over £1,000 for Calm, campaign against living miserably. It's a suicide prevention charity. They've been around for years now. They started originally as being like a suicide prevention charity specifically towards like men and men's issues, but they kind of opened up to everyone, which I think is a good thing. You know, in the grand scheme of things. But it made sense to start in that way because, like, I believe it's like 75% ish of suicides are male. It's like disproportionately, you know, like suicide deaths of male. And it was after Byron Bernstein, the Twitch streamer, had taken his own life, and it just kind of made sense to do it. It's like a charity that's been close to my heart, and it was when I started streaming, it was something that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to do streaming more on that particular issue because it's a I feel like it's like under talked about, or it's talked about for a very specific lens. Like you can only talk about male suicide if you're talking about it in a way where it's like under the specific discussion that is like masculinity is toxic, and I don't think that really encompasses the entire issue. Like there's obviously men's issues that need to be talked about, and there's like a need for guys to be open about their feelings and talk about their themselves in a way of like I guess being open when they do feel like they're, you know, in a state which might lead to them taking their own life or something like that. I'm trying to think of like the best way to phrase this as I'm talking. I'm not very good at this, but with Wreckful, he was a streamer that talked about his own mental health quite a lot. He was very open about it, and he did a lot of streams with other people, like mental health professionals. He talked about how good it is and how important it is to talk about your feelings. But even he, in that situation, took his own life. So I'm just like, there's more to it than this. There must be more that needs to be done than specifically just talking about it. There's, you know, like there's obviously a unique problem here, and I think Karma quite good in that space and talking about that. So that's why we raised money. So we raised over £1,000 for Calm, and it ended up with that stream. I still have a couple of streams that I need to do. One of them being donning a Bob Ross wig and doing some painting for you all at some point in my life. I need to plan that out. I've got like the easel and stuff. That's like the one where I'm just like logistically, I don't know how to really do a Bob Ross painting stream. So I'm gonna have to like research and then come back to it, because I want to make it awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to just like rush it and it be kind of lame. So
yeah,
I'm terrible at painting, so I'm really nervous about it too. But that's kind of where we're at. We raised over £1,000 for suicide prevention. I thought that was awesome. So
that's incredible, man. That really is.
That's a lot of money.
Thank you. It's the having an awesome, really, really generous community that all kind of came together on this issue, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. You did some other stuff as well, didn't you? You did a Just Dance stream.
That's true. We did a Just Dance stream on Trovo. That was an interesting experience. I don't know if I'd stream on Trovo again, but it was cool to do it that one time. And yeah, that was good. I play Just Dance a little bit more since that stream as well. I've started having like more regular dance parties with my son, and like we'll just kind of put on Just Dance and I'll dance, and he'll kind of look at me like, "Daddy, you idiot," and then he'll get more and more into it and find it really funny. And yeah, it's good exercise. It's good exercise, and that was a fun thing. I can't remember what the other one. We had a VR horror stream, and we had another stream which was like a non-VR horror marathon stream. And it's kind of like, at the moment I'm feeling like I need to lean a bit more into horror games on stream and horror games on social media, I suppose, because it's kind of, it kind of always feels like home when I do it. It always feels like really comfortable and really entertaining and funny. So I'm like, should I be doing that more? You've kind of caught me at this moment where I'm having like an existential crisis about my own streams, but not in a bad way, in like a way where I'm just like, I kind of want to take stock of what's interesting about my streams and what works and what doesn't work, and kind of, you know, balance things out, make it more entertaining, make it come together and be more compelling.
Someone's giving you a candy and you're about to evolve, basically, is what you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, I need a rare candy. I do. I do need a rare candy. You know, it's very difficult to find them because they're rare, but I will find whatever that is. I think it's introspection. It's like healthy introspection and working out what works. I need to call together a council of people that know me better than I know myself, and then drill into their brains, and then take that essence and work out where it's going. I don't know. I just don't know.
So let's talk a bit about, until more recently, how you choose which game you play. Because for well over a year now,
yeah, it has been.
Yeah, you've basically had, to a certain degree, your community choose which game you play. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about how this works, what gave you the idea, and why it's a good idea.
So I don't know if I'm an advocate of whether or not it's a good idea. I've seen a lot of other people do it now, and it's kind of interesting that it's like picked up. It's not is not something that I saw happen a lot, and now I feel like it's something that people do in that they ask their community more what game to play next, and it tends to be the way that I did it was through Discord. So to me it was like talking inside streamer baseball for a second, in that I wanted something to bring more people to Discord and kind of bring people together as a community. So I thought, how can I do that? Like, I don't get a lot of time to be able to game with people outside of stream, and I feel like that's a really important community building exercise, or like something fun you can do. You can get people to play like Among Us with you or something like that, or like have Jackbox streams, and I wasn't able to do that. So I was like, what can I do? So I thought maybe putting together a list of games and choosing those games based on like different criteria of what I thought would work on Twitch, and then and also like making sure they'd be games I'd enjoy, except for maybe God of War, but I thought I'd enjoy that. But it was getting those list of games to vote on, putting them as a list in Discord, and then assigning an emote to each of those games, and then putting it in a polls channel, setting up all the things underneath the reaction roles, or sorry, not reaction roles, but the reactions in Discord. So people would click them or tap them on their phone, and they'd vote on whatever game it was that I could play, and then you get it quite easily seen like which number's the highest. That you can get people to vote on more than one thing as well, which I thought was kind of fun, because then people can tactically vote for everything apart from the thing they don't want to see. I was like, I'm not going to vote on anything at all, I'm just going to leave it all up to you, but sometimes I might hint as to the thing that I would personally really like to play, but then I'll leave it up to you anyway. And then as time's gone on, so it's been a year of this experiment, and I think like it's interesting because it's been quite good to see how game choice affects viewership on Twitch, because I'm in like a difficult spot with average viewers, I suppose. I try not to think about these kind of metrics too much, but when it gets to like that 20 to 50 kind of range, then you end up like finding it hard to move higher than that. And a lot of people try and cheat that and try and find ways to get higher with like support discords and stuff like that, or like finding ways to funnel streamers below them up into their stream. And I'm just like, I'm not really into that. I don't believe in trying to make people come to my stream for like engagement purposes or something like that, thinking like, oh, I'll like make sure I raid small streamers at the end and hype it up that way. I think that's all kind of like commodifying your viewers in like a way that I find a little bit unethical. I don't really like it. So I was like, I just want to find ways of diversifying the games that I play, and like being able to try different things, see what works for me, and see also ultimately what like people want me to watch. So that was kind of how it all ended up in the Discord thing. It's been about a year of this, and pretty much every game I've enjoyed. Every game that I've put on the lists, I've thought I would enjoy. Some of them I've enjoyed less than I actually would. Some of them are choices that I probably wouldn't make. And also with this, I feel like I'm a bit more confident knowing what games work for me on stream. But then at the same time, maybe a little bit less confident with that, because it's been so long since I feel like a game's really like given me the chance to convey what I'd like to convey in a stream, like bring the energy that I would like to bring. And I tend to not bring that energy as much when I'm playing a game where I like focus on it. So like Hollow Knight, as much as I enjoyed it, I felt there were some moments where I'm just like spending a lot of time being fairly quiet and not able to read chat, because I need to like get in the headspace to be able to get over whatever the challenge is, like be it a boss. And then there's like moments where you can chill out and talk with chat. So Hollow Knight's also been a really entertaining game, but it's most entertaining from my perspective when I'm not really playing it. And before the experiment, like I was playing visual novels and stuff, and they kind of work because you can play them at your own pace, and I could kind of talk to chat and do different voices. And if I wanted to go off on a tangent and talk about a story or talk about something that was happening in chat that was interesting, or anything outside of the game, you can just stop it. You can just stop the visual novel when you feel like it's got to the end of what you're talking about, and you can just start moving on. Then you can start playing the game, and that's fine. Like it's a very it's a very flexible pace of game to play is visual novels. So that's kind of why I found that they were something that I was enjoying doing. And then I went entirely away from them. And it was like you miss lore. Everyone misses lore. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's like playing games that are like a rubber band where you can pull away from them for a little bit and be able to kind of move and talk about different things, but then be pulled back towards it. Like that game's got to be a little bit sticky. It's got to be a little bit magnetic towards you, I suppose. And it's just finding those games. At the moment, I feel like I have a better idea of them. And it's quite difficult when you play primarily story games, because even if you find a game that really works with you, you have to move on from it eventually. Like I couldn't continue playing Subnautica for much longer than I played it for. There were things that I could do, but at the same time, it would have been maybe 2 more streams where I could have been like, oh, we'll try some different challenges, or we'll spend the stream building a really big base. You know, you can't do that for forever. And you know, like people that play like Tarkov, people that play like Fortnite or whatever, you know, they have that anchor to bring themselves to. And you know, like even if you're playing like a Darkest Dungeon or something like that, you have that game that you could anchor yourself to. It's like no matter what you do, there's still more replayability in it. But some games just don't have that replayability. And although they're compelling to stream and you can get your I really hate talking about streaming in such a clinical way, but like when you can build up an audience from one game. So say, you know, if I start Little Nightmares, then, or no, actually Undertale's probably a good example. A few people came in from Undertale that specifically watch Undertale, and no matter how much they enjoy me as a streamer, they're tethered to Undertale. So you move through these games, and these games have these viewers that are specific to that kind of game. Sometimes there's a bit of a, you know, like some of the watchers, Dark Souls might come along for Sekiro, they might come along for Bloodborne, or like a Soulsborne game, or like a challenging game. But generally, when you're doing story games, it's like, where's the anchor? You have to find something to anchor yourself to. So that's where I'm at. Is like, I'm like, where do I anchor myself to? Right. I've kind of come on here talking about one thing and being asked one thing, but I'm also like, how do I introspect, and how do I talk about myself and my direction I want to go into?
You're like a lot of us, though. We're a straddler situation, is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? And I completely get that. I think there's plenty of streamers that have been in that boat and still in that boat. I know I am still in that boat because I'm still trying to find my niche. Although the way you do your polling situation is fantastic, and I tried doing it once a while ago. Actually, I think I tried it 3 times in a row to choose a Saturday game is what it was for me, right? And every time I had loads of votes. I mean, loads back in the day for me, which was like, it was about 25, 26 people actually voting, which was fantastic. I was really proud of myself for that.
Yeah, that's a fair amount of people.
Yeah, and it was, and that used to be stupid stuff, completely random stuff as well. So it'd be like playing a Minion Masters. I don't know if you remember seeing the Minion Masters days. Yeah, so Minion Masters was an option because that's where I started streaming on. So people like to see me go back to that, or it was stuff like GTA 5 or another random game and stuff like that. And they would go like, they would all sync onto one specific game. Like there was very little on the others. And then I'd go, okay, we're doing it. This is the date. We're doing it this Saturday. It's gonna be great. Everybody's like, yes, boom, boom, boom. And then I had like 2 people show up. No one else turned up. It really was, and I was like, "Am I doing this wrong?" And I just, the problem I find is that I feel really guilty about as a streamer. I don't know if you guys do it, but I stream 3 nights a week is my kind of bit at the moment, and I'll do it for 3 hours a night as long as I don't pass out midstream. But I find if I play a story-driven game, I feel really guilty that the people who weren't on the first stream have missed out because I'm on the second stream now. I'm halfway through the story or something like that. And as much as I love talking about what's happened so far in the story, I feel that there's a few people going, "Oh, well, I've missed out on the first bit," and they actually go off. They say, "Well, I would have liked to have seen the first stream." So, well, it was on Monday. You know, this is, and I kind of feel guilty that they miss out on that situation. And you know, you could always say, "Go watch my VOD and stuff like that if you want to see what's catch up and all that kind of stuff," but I find it really difficult at times unless you've got like a core amount. And unfortunately, my base of viewership is very. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. They're segmented. You know, they're different times, different people come in different days. I see some people on every Tuesday or something like that, and they never come in any other day. So it's kind of difficult. I'm pretty sure you probably got the same kind of few people that come in on different days specifically and stuff like that because of their real life schedules. And it's Yeah, so I've recently, I say recently, in the last year, I tend to have stuck to games that have a storyline with it, but it's like loosely based. Like, for example, World of Warcraft has a load of little mini stories in it, so I can follow a
Mhm.
chain if I want to follow the chain or something like that. Or I'll make my own story with Minecraft and bits that
Yeah.
aren't too prevalent. Like,
Mm.
oh, this is it, and I've never played this game, so I don't know what's going on. But you know that it's making your own stories of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do miss playing story-driven games. I really do. And my main gaming time is streaming, pretty much,
Mhm.
because I'm too busy doing the ironing and dancing around in the bedroom singing songs. So priorities in life. But that's my problem with it, really. But
You
I
got
love
you got
I
to
know
do
that
what makes you
Mellar.
happy, sir.
Yeah, no, exactly, no. And to be fair, I'm happy entertaining. That's my core thing. I get a lot of joy from making people smile or feel ill from my comments because I'm so dirty and grotesque. It's stuff like that. That makes me happy. It doesn't matter what I'm playing.
Why are you like this? Stop talking about my friend like this, Hippo. You're a beautiful man.
I am a beautiful man. I am basically a sexy Wookiee, But no, it's I generally my better streams are just chatting streams where I can just chill out and be disgusting and enjoy life being disgusting and sexual perverted. And I think that's probably why Mellar's stuck to me like glue. Bless him. I saw that, you cheeky bugger.
What?
How do you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's doing OBS.
I'm not doing OBS.
The only thing I did well was that I was able to steal his bedroom. All right.
How do you, Virtute TM? How do you feel about what Hippo just said? It's out of interest, Virtute, about sort of people coming in halfway through a story.
I've never really come across someone. Sometimes people will come in and be like, "Oh, like this is spoiling the part that I haven't played this game. I'd like to watch you, but you're in spoiler territory for me," or something like that. So sometimes, but I don't really try and it's like one of those issues you can't really remedy. You can say to someone like Hippo said, you can say to someone, "Hey, watch my VOD," or you can try and catch someone up and you can be like, "I'll try and give you a bit of a TLDR on what's happened in the game so far." I try and always start a stream that's a story stream talking a little bit about what happened before in the previous stream, even if there wasn't like a story plot beat that happened. Maybe I'll just say like, "Oh, I was doing this particular challenge or I was doing this particular part of the game," and that will be what I kind of try and frame the game part as. So that was really easy with Hades. We could be like, okay, the last time we reached this amount of wins, we escaped this time, we didn't escape, but we tried different weapons. This time I'm going in and I've not tried this sword enough, or I've not tried this particular build, so I'm going to go in on this build. So and that game did have story to it, so there was a degree of like plot in it, and a degree of plot that people needed to keep up with. But I don't know, I just kind of I've not found that issue not Hippo. I've not found that issue, Hippo, where I find that people like bail because of story. But I do find that people bail because of spoilers sometimes.
Yeah,
but,
no,
I mean, you can't. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but you can't really.
Please do interrupt me anytime you want.
You can't affect people's experience. You can't affect not people's experiences, but you can't affect people's prior knowledge of a game before they go into it or anything like that. So you just kind of have to deal with it and either decide that you're not going to do story games because of that factor, or you just be like, "Hey, next time we play a story game, get in on the ground floor." But then if there's some people that can only be there on Tuesdays and not Thursdays or whatever the schedule is for you, and they're missing half the streams, then just like you've got to find a way of making it so they can find your VODs, or they can like get into that content otherwise. Like that's partially why I've started doing more YouTube recently as well, is that it kind of means that people have self-contained stories or self-contained chapters to stories that they can kind of jump in and jump out of without it having to be like a like read the chat on screen type scenario. It's just like, I just want to break it up and try something else, and hopefully that'll get me a bit better at like the talking aspect of streaming outside of talking to a chat. like the let's player type thing, which I don't think a lot of people really do as much anymore. I think that people kind of lean in on streaming a bit more because it's kind of, I don't want to say easier, but it's a little bit easier because you have that chat to bounce off of. In some ways it's kind of harder because you have that mental game that you're playing with live and you can't edit afterwards and all that kind of stuff where, like if you see your numbers and it kind of throws you off or your chat goes quiet and you're like, what do I talk about now? But I was like, I need to get better at just talking because I don't feel like I'm that good at talking, even though I clearly am in some situations. But I'm quite a quiet person when it comes to conversations with people. Like, most of my friends on the internet will find that I don't really end up in Discord calls with them very often because I'm quite like an introverted, quiet person that just kind of wants to get on with my own thing and edit videos and stuff. So it's just like I need to get better at conversing, and if I do that specifically with a game, then that's fine, and then maybe I'll move on to collaborating with other YouTubers or streamers or what have you. I don't know. I'm just trying different things. That's been my time on Twitch, is just throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Zero. I always called it like a zero viewer strategy, where you think of things to do. My old days when I first started, because back in the days before the DMCA hit us all, was singing really badly was my comfort blanket. Because that's what I do. I sing in real life. I badly, and whenever I've got the headphones on and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I did with it. And then I started talking what I was going to be doing next, like talking out loud, thinking my strategy in the game or something, like, for example, Minecraft. I'm going to build this motherfucking tower, and this is how I'm going to use it. And I'm not going to use these blocks. And I know this is going to be very difficult. And that's how I used to do it. And then I realized I just don't shut up. Yeah. And it's pretty much less about any game in my stream and me just blabbering on and very easily distracted by shiny things. And I'm looking at the shiny thing right now, and Mellar's smiling like he's about to kill someone.
Mellar does have quite a murderous smile on his face.
Yeah,
I'm just laughing because Fairy's
like looking down up at the camera, just like, my precious.
I've got the eye for it as well now. Yeah.
Oh no, but I mean, like, you've got a very unique personality, Hippo. To put it polite.
I'm pretty sure there's a clinical disorder for it, so it's all good.
But you're like, you talk in a way that's very unique to you, and you're flirty and you flirt with your chat, and you always have that vibe about your streams. It's kind of like it's very in the moment.
I just love everyone. I just love everyone.
Everyone loves you. So.
Yeah, everyone is my sock.
Pardon me.
Sorry, what? Sorry.
We'll reel chat back in, shall we? We'll go back. So, some time ago, I'm not sure if it was a year or an hour or something, we were talking about... That was amazing. We were talking about how you choose your games, Virtue, and you did scratch slightly on the fact that you've now kind of decided that maybe you don't want to use that method anymore.
I think I need to take a break from that method or work out how it really works for me. And a lot of the time, because even if I think that, sorry, I've just kind of launched into talking about it again, but I think that even if I might look at a game and think, oh, I would enjoy this. And all of the games that I pick are like in a list of 10 are games that I think I'd enjoy, but maybe I should, not use it as much as I did previously, but also if I do it, then it needs to be on very like yes no choices or fewer than 5 choices. Like it needs to be so there's like, are you familiar with like the paradox of choice? Like when you have too many choices, you choose not to choose.
Yes,
it's like quite like it's a fairly common phenomenon anyway. But like I feel like that may play into it a little bit as well. Like I was trying to make my choices so different each time, like maybe put in like not that I use this, but like a farming sim against like a horror game against like a hunting game and just all these different things. I was just like, I'm kind of I'm not ever going to ride the shoe off, but I am going to make things kind of flow more into each other. I think like I think that when you do something with too much choice and too much change between it, then even if you're like an interesting enough person like there's always going to be some viewers that don't want to watch horror games or don't want to watch whatever the next game is that you're playing, and you kind of just have to make a decision based on like what you would enjoy the most as a streamer.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Absolutely. So essentially, you've decided that you'd rather pick because you want to ensure that you're going to play a game that you're definitely going to like.
Yeah, but maybe I'll bring back voting at some point. I need to work it out. I need to have a think. I do think that I'm going to pick things based on a criteria of what works on Twitch. As much as there are some games that I think that I would enjoy playing, like it's quite difficult because you want to have a environment where you bring in new people and you bring in, like you let Twitch do a little bit of advertising for you. And if you're streaming in a category that no one ever browses, even if I find that a particularly interesting game, like that's a difficult one, like you want to be in a position where you end up on people's homepage because you're playing a game that people follow, or you're playing in a category that people browse. So yeah, I mean, like I've got to kind of balance all these decisions, but also not be so in the headspace of analytics or the headspace of game choice that I find it not enjoyable. I want to make sure I enjoy streaming. So
yes, absolutely.
I kind of beg to differ on that one though, in
Mhm.
terms of previous experience. So I don't know if you know the game Virtue, but I know Mellar does. But we were quite fond of a game called Freelancer.
Yeah.
It's a space game from like 2002,
Microsoft
2003,
game.
some of that Microsoft game. It was big for me. It was my first like MMO, but only had a 50 player cap in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my thing. But it was great. I streamed it last year, and it was a dead game. No one's playing it. No one's on Twitch, stuff like that. It has a very small community, still trying to keep it up with private servers and all that kind of stuff. And I went on stream with it, and I thought, I'm just going to play because I love the story. It's fantastic. And I went up, I think it was about 60% increase in my viewership that night. Because people were like, someone's streaming Freelancer. And I got a lot of nostalgia people come through, and I got
those
dared
people
to do
probably
speed running and all
follow it.
sorts. Yeah, but like I still have a few of them to this day that still come back because they appreciated that I played something that no one streams. Which
True enough.
It's kind of more like a culty
niche
game.
I think, to be fair though, I do think that is definitely an exception that proves
it's
the
definitely
rule.
an exception rule, but I don't know. I mean, you think of how, like, for example, how retro games are all the way nowadays and stuff like that. There are so many old games that are, like, for example, if I had the opportunity to play Lost Vikings again back in the old days before Blizzard mentioned it, I'm pretty sure there'll be people still willing to watch it because it's such a blast game for people. It's a nostalgia vibe.
Yeah.
And not many people of a couple of generations now will know what Lost Vikings is.
But that's why there's the retro category.
Yes,
and the retro category
cool.
is one that's like people will browse. Like it doesn't matter your viewership in the retro category. It doesn't matter if you're at the bottom of the list or the top of the list, because people are going to the retro category to find a blast from the past. They're looking for a thumbnail or a game description that looks like a thing that they might remember fondly. They might be like, oh, I played this on the Mega Drive as a kid or what have you. So that's a different category. When you move into like a nostalgia audience, then you can hit people on, like I don't like to talk about people in like terms of demographics, but you can like hit a certain demographic there. Like there are streamers that do retro as their niche. They do you like turtles? I like turtles. Sorry, I don't mean to just talk to chat. But yeah, there are niches in that particular way. So that's different.
I just feel like, and it wouldn't work with newer games is the thing, I guess, would be the key thing. Newer games are difficult if they're not well marketed via Steam or Humble Bundles or anything like that, really, out there, IGN, or whatever, then they will completely fall on their ass. But I still think you can still play some. It doesn't have to be necessarily older games or retro. There's still stuff that from like 7-8 years ago that people have completely forgotten about that were fantastic. You can still just enjoy it, and it will still bring people in. I don't think you should be, especially with how big Twitch is now. It is continuously growing larger and larger by the day. There's less fear of being not found from any game, I feel, unless it's like a right indie game that's you're privately testing for a developer of 2.
Sure, but maybe my point makes more sense on kind of the inverse of that. It's harder to get new people find you if you're say a Call of Duty streamer in the place where like people are gonna have to scroll a long time to be able to see you. Like if you're a small streamer, like some people might invert the viewer list and look for people with less views and kind of go up the list. And like you may be also a streamer that is almost in the higher, like say you've got like 60 views of Call of Duty, there's still going to be only a certain amount of people that scroll down that list to find you. Is kind of what I'm saying. So yeah, in like a category where there may be no other streamers but a few followers, it kind of it stands to reason that some of those people that follow it might see it. But it's different. I don't know. I don't think you can just play anything and expect people to find you. And I think that some categories are so popular that you get buried as a smaller streamer. So
I got you.
So I know you kind of said that you're not really sure where things are going. You certainly don't know which game you're going to play next. But do you have any sort of scoops for us here at Chattisfying about what might be coming soon to the world of Virtute?
So I don't know. Not like a real scoop. I'm kind of at the moment I'm kind of thinking like Resident Evil. I'm kind of thinking Little Nightmares. I'm kind of thinking like cuter games and horror games and trying to find a way of pulling those together. I don't really know. Like the Saturday streams of Brit will remain very much the same.
Awesome.
Like those are, Brit and I play a co-op game when she's like feeling like she wants to come on stream with me. We'll play a co-op game. When she goes to bed, I'll play horror games that are like the weirder, the more obscure games that you'll find on like Itch or like exe games you'll find on the internet. I'm just like, whatever, this is a night where I'm just hanging out with people. Whoever turns up, and I don't really mind worrying about having a Tuesday, Thursday schedule where there has to be some, I can't think of the correct word, but like they have to kind of play into one another a little bit. Like when there's my scheduled streams, they're like along the same game, like we're trying to make a journey. And a lot of that was because I kind of was stressing myself out a little bit by playing different games each time. And like, it would be a week from playing, say, Judgment, where that was quite a story heavy game. And it would be like, each Thursday, and then I may play something else on Tuesday. And I'd kind of forget what I was doing, or a new game would come out that I'd want to play and stuff like that. And I just kind of wanted to separate myself from the release schedule of games, like feeling like I needed to play new games or feeling like I needed to play whatever game interested me at that time. I was just like, no, I just want to kind of anchor myself in a story each time and then move on. So I don't know. I think I'll still continue to anchor myself in a story and not chase new games as much. But I think that if a game comes out that I really am interested in, like, and it makes sense for me as a person to jump on it, then I'm gonna put whatever I'm doing to one side, jump on that game for a little bit, and then come back to it. I don't know. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Like the other thing is that I'm kind of alongside streaming more now than I used to, like kind of moving on to doing stuff for YouTube, as I touched on earlier, and doing like more recorded stuff separately and working on editing and working on how to make things like my content work on other, I hate saying content, but my streams work on other platforms and my videos work on other platforms. I'm just trying something different, just trying to get on that creative train. I think that 2021 for me is like very much moving away from thinking about numbers and thinking about growth and thinking about like what game I want to play in that kind of framework, and more thinking like, let's just be entertaining. Let's just learn to be entertaining and have fun.
So why don't you like the word content?
Because I think it's a bit too vague to be useful. I suppose, like, there's not only streamers or video game players refer to what they're doing as content. Like people tweet, or they post on Instagram, or they post on their OnlyFans, or they post on everything on the internet, and it's all under the umbrella of blanket. Not umbrella of blanket, under the blanket or umbrella of content.
Yeah.
So like if you talk to someone, they say, "Oh, I'm a content creator." That doesn't actually mean anything.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't like convey any information or any good information. And also, it's like,
someone who
I'm just
writes
a dude that
music or writes a
plays
book.
video games on the internet. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you
That's
there.
right. I interrupted you. You go on.
No, it's all good. So yeah, just a dude that plays video games on the internet. I feel like calling it content just feels a little bit I don't want to say arrogant. You probably know the word that I'm looking for because I can't think of it. It's pretentious. It's a little pretentious, and I don't mean to say that people that call themselves or call what they're doing content are being pretentious. That's only like me and how I feel about it. So it's
I'm
kind
in
of
your book
like
on that one. I'm
Pardon?
in your book on that. I'm in your book in that one. I
Okay.
don't really enjoy the content thing either. I
Yeah.
hate that.
And
It is a bit of a catch-all term, isn't it? I mean, I was going to say is like if you write a book or a song, you're creating content, aren't you? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like content just means something. Like
It's
that's
a
literally what it
nothing
means,
word.
a thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nothing word. It just doesn't. It's just so empty, and everyone does it, and it doesn't signify quality. It doesn't signify what you're going to actually get from that thing. Like it's if you got served a meal by someone and you were like, "What's this?" and they were like, "It's meal." You'd be like, "Yeah, but what is it?" And they're just like, "No, it's meal. It's meal. It's served
meal.
it's served on plate. It's served on plate. I can also deliver it to you by the platform of bowl. Would you like it? Would you like it in scoop?" And that's like a TikTok, Instagram, and whatever. But it's all the same dish, and it's all the same grey goo content that doesn't really.
Basic amino acids and proteins, right?
it could be a beautifully well cooked meal, or it also could be like what I sneezed up into that bowl.
Yeah,
like I don't know. It just doesn't.
I'd eat it.
Like whenever I see someone say they're a content creator, it doesn't give me anything to go by apart from that they do something on the internet that may or may not be something that I enjoy. But it could be a tweet. It could be a picture. It could be anything. So I don't know. I just prefer like dude that plays video games on the internet. Like it's much easier. People know what it is.
I mean, it is a bit of a mouthful, though, isn't
it? Yeah, but I'm used to a mouthful when I'm around you, and also it's not like it's like an elevator pitch at that point.
Yeah,
it's a shit elevator pitch. It really is like your basic elevator pitch, but the most of the personality and meaning of it comes through in the person saying it, I suppose, and the way in which it's said. Which may not be the best sell, but I don't know.
No, I understand. I don't think I have quite such an aversion to it as you, but I completely know what you're saying, and it certainly isn't a very descriptive term for sure.
No.
I think we need to move on quite soon, but I do want to talk a little bit more because again you've scratched on it, but I want to go into a bit more detail because obviously we've talked quite a lot of detail about Twitch, but you're also doing pretty well on YouTube, TikTok, and some other platforms. Talk to us a bit more about that. How's that going?
So I don't know if I'm doing like well on TikTok. I'm building a thing on TikTok, and mostly it's like trying to do short gameplay videos and them be somewhat like shaped by TikTok. Like sometimes I'm trying to like work out how to make something specific for that platform without going into just doing like meme dances or whatever. Like I don't want to just be making the same TikTok videos that people go on there and they're just like, I'm gonna be a TikToker, because I'm just like I didn't really do Vine for the same reason. It's not really me. It doesn't feel authentic to who I am. So I'm just putting gameplay videos up on there, but I'm just like trying to work out how to do that in a way that kind of makes sense as a series. Or like sometimes I'll play a game and someone will be like, maybe you should check this thing, and then I'll reply to them with a video reply of me checking that thing or doing something that kind of matches up to what their comment is. And I kind of like TikTok for that. It's got like this video reply feature, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. There's something in there that I don't think as many game video creators do as many content creators do. It's just trying to work stuff out. It's trying to work out how to, I mean, like since Christmas I had around less than 1,000 followers on there, and now I've got just over 3,000. So it's not crazy by TikTok sense. Like you see people on TikTok that are just like, they'll open a box and they'll throw it at a wall, and everyone will be like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen." And then like 500,000 followers, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do that. I'd rather grow slowly and it be relevant to who I am as a person than grow quickly with people just kind of wanting me to play a meme that I'm not. You know what I mean?
Virtue wants to keep it real. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. I want to keep it 100 at this point. And the same on YouTube. It's like, I just want to I'm not going to start acting like acting reactions to things or being like a quote unquote YouTuber for the sake of growing on YouTube. But I do like the idea of looking at it and just kind of learning creatively how to edit better, how to have something that I put together and put out before I see people's reactions to it. It's that kind of stuff. And there's another site, Odyssey, which is like YouTube, but it's more of an open source YouTube. It's kind of like if YouTube ran like it was a cryptocurrency, then that's where it's at, and it's really cool. It's really interesting, and I've been kind of mentioned as creator of the week on there. They do like a weekly vote on who should be creator of the week, and I was mentioned on there, so that's kind of cool. It's interesting. It's like another platform to grow. I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of talking bollocks, and I don't think it's that interesting. I'm creating content, I'm afraid.
I love the way you said that though. It's like I'm actually kind of a big deal.
I know, but I wasn't trying to say that I'm kind of a big deal. I'm just
chest all out like this. I'm ready to go. A big deal.
Exactly.
Man.
I'm creator of the week on a website you've not heard of. Damn it. Yeah. Do you know who I am? I'm Virtute, creator of the week. This table is mine now. It's my table. I don't know.
Odyssey button, creator of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't come on wearing like a crown or something.
Yeah, I should have actually. I really should have. I'm just talking. You asked me about my achievements and my experiences in other platforms, and I will fight you.
I just love taking
content creator Virtute. Let me witness as I create this content on your platform.
Boom.
Show me your analytics. I don't even know.
Nay all over your TikToks. All right.
Yeah, no. So my experience on this. Also, to talk about social media and to go back to that for a moment, or I'm kind of like, I was very much into like tweeting a lot, but I kind of didn't find that good for me as a person. I don't think Twitter's good for the soul, so I've kind of moved away from that a little bit. And part of that was because like they just decided to ban my main Twitter account kind of out of nowhere, or not ban it, but suspend it. And I hadn't broken any rules, and I was never told what rules I'd broken or what the reason was for my suspension. I was just kind of like, I put a lot of effort into this thing, and I was kind of trying to grow this thing, and then it just got taken away from me. And when I got it back, it wasn't the same. And I'm just like, at that point, is it worth putting my effort into a platform that's very specific? Like, you don't really use Twitter like anywhere else, whereas you can use like YouTube and TikTok in kind of an interchangeable way. In some way, you can use that to like move your content to other platforms, other places. But with Twitter, you're talking on Twitter like you're on Twitter, and most of the time that's just people arguing with each other or talking about drama that no one cares about, or like inventing drama in order to grow and all that kind of stuff. And I've never really got into that. Like people on Twitter tend to have to be something that they're not in order to get noticed. Like there's a lot of fakeness, there's a lot of cliqueiness, and a lot of inventing drama or rehashing the same topics of conversation because they want the engagement. I'm like, that I don't see how that really translates to who I am as a person or translates to what's on my streams. So I'm just giving it a lot less love now. I'm just kind of over it, I guess.
Well,
I really couldn't get into Twitter. It was frustrating me.
Well, I think
it is a frustrating place.
Yeah. I think we can move on then, because we've kind of naturally started talking about our topic for the show.
Chattisfying.